can you start a successful business?
I think you can go a couple different directions. It's funny because there's contradictory advice out there, and when you sort of take all of that advice and then like boil it down to base principles, it ends up making a lot of sense. So Gary Vee is a great social media influencer, and he's got some great content out there. He encourages young people, like if you're younger and you're listening to this now, Gary's like, dude, if you're 30 years old and you're like, man, I need to have all of this figured out. Like my friends are more successful. Like you have some comparison syndrome. You don't know what your purpose is yet. You haven't exactly figured out what it is that you have to offer the world. Or maybe you know what you want to offer the world, but you haven't figured out how to sell it. Or maybe you know what you want to offer the world, and it's just like not something that people are willing to pay for right now. It's okay. You're going to figure it out. You just got to give it time. You got to be patient over the long term and then less patient in the short term. So you need to take consistent actions toward your goal and consistent actions in the way of personal development, because entrepreneurship is just personal development in disguise. And so even if you're just listening to podcasts, even if you're just reading books, even if you're just, you turn your car into a library, you started listening to, it's almost like school where no one expects anything from you when you're a kindergartner or a first grader or a second grader. They might not even have grades yet. You spent like 13 years in school. You are probably on your first year of small business. If you just started in small business, you might be on your first year. So I would say to understand how habits compound, to understand how your business will compound over time, and then there's an exponential relationship. Usually there's a small dip where you think about giving up, and then right after that, there's this amazing hockey stick thing that happens where your business starts launching like it's a trajectory toward the moon. So that will eventually happen. You'll eventually get to a place where things will take off, things will be great. Man, when it comes to the type of business you should create, the ones that work and work well are documented as far as wealth creation. Those are going to be more boring and they're going to bring you less purpose. Work is like, 60% of your life. Like you think hours-wise, it's 8 hours a day. You might as well love what you do. And so you can make money at absolutely anything. Developing the skills to make money is the hardest part. Base principles, boil it all down again. The main things that you need to focus on are bringing in high enough amounts of money that you can't go under. So you have to be able to sell really well, which means you need to focus on marketing, and then you have to have great sales skills. There's the product itself. Even if it's a service, it's still the product. And then there's the finances, finding money, getting lines of credit, leverage. I know that Dave Ramsey fans don't like that word, but having access to massive amounts of capital means that you can create more skills and more resources more quickly, which means you can scale faster. And then lastly, some place to keep all your data. Customer relationship management software, because you got to remarket to people. It should get easier every single year for you to make more money because you're getting referrals, especially if your service or product is amazing.